Hi everyone. Uh, it's a beautiful, beautiful time of year. Looks like we're going to have an absolutely gorgeous weekend here in October, and it's probably one of the last really nice weekends to get things done outside. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of this beautiful weather and get all their fall projects wrapped up, because you never know, we might not have another real nice weekend like this. Um, well, I have some bad news. I got in my hive about a week ago, and things just didn't seem right. Um, Lots of drone, lots of male bees, uh, capped and brood, getting ready to emerge. It's not normal this time of year. Very large numbers of drones. Um, Not much in the way of brood of worker bees. And so I kept a close eye on the hive this past week, checking in on it every day. And it's pretty much confirmed now. I've lost the queen. Something happened to her. Uh, it's called, when this happens, it's a hive goes queenless. That's what they call it when you lose the queen. It goes queenless. And queenless can happen in the fall. It can happen any time of the year, but it's common to happen in the fall for various reasons. There's lots of different reasons that you can lose the queen. Um, so I'm not really sure what happened. I can only speculate. Possibly another queen emerged that I wasn't aware of, and maybe the queens will fight to the death sometimes if the conditions are right. Queens have a very powerful stinger, and they won't sting humans hardly ever, but they will fight other queens and other bees. And it's mainly to protect themselves from other queens, and they will they will fight to the death until one of them is either incapacitated or killed by the stinger of the other queen. And it's possible that I lost the queen that way. There's lots of different things that can happen. But whatever the reason is, I'm pretty positive now. I'm 99% sure the queen is lost, no longer in the hive. So what this means is these bees here in my hive, they will not. They There's quite a few of them left in there, but they will not survive the winter, no matter what you do. If you lose the queen during this window, there's a specific window this time of year. If you lose the queen in that window, there's no way to save the hive unless you have lots of other very healthy hives that you can take frames out of other hives that have lots of healthy brood in them, because there's a specific brood pheromone that has to be present in the hive for the bees to make a new queen and accept another queen. And because there's no healthy brood, worker brood in the hive right now, if I tried to introduce a new queen, if I bought a new queen from another beekeeper and I tried to put her in there, no matter what I do, more than likely the bees will kill her. Because right now there are pheromones in the hive from worker bees laying eggs. And worker bees can lay eggs if they lose the queen, but all of the eggs will turn into drones, into male bees. None of the female workers can lay other female worker bees. Only the queen can lay worker bees, eggs to turn into worker bees. So that's why there's lots of drones and drone brood in there right now, because some of my worker bees have started to lay eggs, and that's detrimental to a hive. Everything that's happening with the hive right now is normal for a hive that goes queenless. So there's nothing abnormal happening right now. There's no colony collapse disorder occurring at the moment. But I don't get that discouraged anymore. I mean, I've had this type of thing happen many times in the past. It's just the reality of beekeeping. Who knows? My hive could have done great up until the last few weeks of November, and then colony collapse could have happened and they would have all died anyhow. So you just don't know what's going to happen. But I don't get too discouraged anymore. It is a little depressing when you first realize you've lost the queen, which is going to cause you to lose the hive. But on a positive note, the bees did really well this year. I'm proud of them. They produced a lot of honey, and not a record amount, but they produced 3 or 4 gallons of honey, and that's good for any hive to produce that amount. I mean, some years you don't hardly get any honey, so any honey is good honey, so they did a good job. They served their purpose. They worked hard. It's not their fault that they lost the queen. Something happened. Like I said, there's many reasons it could have happened. So even though it's a little depressing, I don't let it get to me too much anymore. I mean, the first year I lost my bees, it was, I was devastated. But as you keep bees each year, you go through this type of thing and you become used to it. Okay, so when you're cracking garlic, you're cracking it apart, put the cloves in for planting. What I do is I break it apart, and you can see you want each individual clove to pull apart. I personally like to keep as much paper like that all the way around as possible. Kind of protects the clove when it's in the ground in the fall, so it doesn't rot. So if you do one and most of the paper came off, it'll probably be okay, but you may want to pull that out and eat it. But I like to keep as much paper on them as possible. You want to pull the stem out and just break it apart, break all the cloves apart, throw the excess paper away, but don't peel any more paper off than necessary. And that's how you prepare the cloves for planting. And as you can see, this year we've had some really big cloves, and a really nice crop of garlic this year. The windiest day of the year, apparently, when we're doing the planting for the garlic, so the audio is probably horrible. But as you can see, we are planting the garlic here. I usually go for the first weekend, second weekend of October is when I usually like to plant. And we have all the German white garlic planted already, and we're working on the Italian music garlic right now. And as you can see, Amy's planting the cloves in the holes that we poked in the plastic and putting them root side down. So we have, that's a nice big clove there. Look at the size of that thing. Okay, so you have the root end right here, and then you have the pointy end. The other end's pointy. You want the pointy end up, you want the root end down, and you want to put it in the hole, and you want to make your holes about 4 inches deep, and you want to push that clove all the way down to the bottom, and then you want to push down around the hole. I usually walk on it with my feet and step on them, and then the dirt will fall in on the clove nice and loose, and that's all you have to do. It's that easy. And we've planted thousands of cloves here, and we've only been doing this about 45 minutes, so it doesn't take very long to plant your garlic this way in plastic. And I'll show you real quick here how I poke the holes in the plastic. This is how you poke the hole in the plastic. I usually use an old rake or shovel handle. I cut it off the right length so it's comfortable, and I make the holes about 8 to 10 about 4 inches, and I just go along, just poke those holes. And I put them right in the middle. So I make a row down the middle of the plastic and a row down each side, about 4 to 6 inches from the edge, and about 8 to 10 inches apart. And that's all you have to do. If you want to plant your own garlic in a bed, flower bed or a raised bed or garden around your property, make sure that you raise the bed up about 4 or 6 inches above the height of your yard. Our bed laying machine, you can see, makes this special raised bed with these ditches on the side for drainage. It keeps the soil under the plastic from becoming too moist, lets it drain properly. We've gone through some serious flooding out here in the field where these ditches were full of water and it didn't drown the plants because this plastic goes under this dirt all the way out to here, so it keeps the soil under the plastic from being flooded and letting the plant drown. Now I know a lot of you aren't going to do it in plastic, but I would recommend if you want to do something similar to this, you can make your own raised beds. You can wrap it in landscaping material that's about this, like 3 foot wide or so landscaping material, and make a raised bed of dirt and wrap the top with the landscaping material and put dirt on the sides just like this, pack it down, and you'll get the same effect. You can open little holes in your material just like this, plant it, and it'll actually work better for you than the plastic because it'll let water permeate through the material, so you won't have to worry about in the summertime watering your garlic as much. We have to water the garlic quite often when it's in plastic like this, or the soil will get too dry underneath the plastic. Also, our machine also can lay drip tape under the plastic, so we can water it from a garden hose, hook a garden hose up at the end and water the entire row just by turning the garden hose on for an hour or so. And it drip tape moistens the soil just right. So that's how you work with plastic. But if you're not working with plastic and you're working with material, it'll let rainwater water your garlic more, so it'll work out better for you. But we're all set. We got all our garlic planted, and I would recommend that everybody plant their garlic now, the first weekend of October, up until the 3rd weekend. I usually do it the 1st or 2nd week of October. You can plant it after that period of time into November, but I did an experiment one year where I planted a row every week of October and November just to see what happened, and the garlic that I planted the first weekend to the 2nd weekend of October did the best and got the largest and best results. So that's what I've always stuck with since then from my experiment. You plant the garlic now, and you should see little baby garlic plants come up about anywhere from 1 inch to 3 or 4 inches above the plastic. Sometimes in a warm fall, they can even get taller than that. They can get 6, 8 inches high. But ideally, you want your plants to be somewhere around, and they might lay over, but the total length of the plant sticking out of the plastic should be around 3-4 inches maximum. They say any more than that could be dangerous because of severe cold weather in the wintertime, could actually hurt the plant. I haven't had that happen here in Northeast Ohio. I'm sure farther north, where they have really cold winters below 0 for long periods of time, you could actually damage the plants because they're sticking up out of here. The shorter they are, the more protected they are by the warmth of the soil. And also, if you get 3 or 4 inches of snow on top of this plastic, it will insulate and protect the plants from severe cold. If the plants stick up too high, then it would take a lot more snow to protect the plant. So you should see baby garlics come out of your garlic bed you know, here in November. You should see them growing all the way up until December, and they should end up being 3 or 4 inches tall by Christmas, and that's perfectly normal and healthy. And then sometime in the spring, around March, they'll start growing again. And we'll talk more about this in the spring, but come May, you have to do lots of fertilizing, and not lots of fertilizing, but you have to fertilize at the right times with the right type of fertilizer, and water it properly in May, and in June is critical. And then in July, 4th of July weekend, when the fireworks start flying, is when you'll pick your garlic. And that's when you'll pull it out of the ground and put it on your drying carts, or hang it in your garage or wherever you want to put it to dry. And that's what we look forward to every year. We know when 4th of July comes, it's garlic harvest season.